أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا أما بعد فقد قال أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب عليه الصلاة والسلام ومن كلام له عليه السلام لما أسفره الله بأصحاب الجمل وقد قال له بعض أصحابه وددت أن أخي فلانا كان شاهدنا ليرى ما نصرك الله به صلوات الله محمد وآل محمد. This khutbah number 12 that I recited, part of it for you, it is about an individual who was present in the Battle of Jamal, or some of the individuals that were present in the Battle of Jamal. So you see the previous khutbahs, the continuation of the discussion on Battle of Jamal is happening. Here, an individual who took part amongst the ashab of Imam, he comes up to Imam and he asks a question from Imam. And then, of course, Imam ﷺ responded to his question. As made clear from this statement, Imam said this in response to one of his companions who wished his brother could be present in the battle. Now, after Imam was given the victory in the battle of Jamal, as it says over here, one of his comrades came on that occasion, said, I wish my brother so-and-so had been present, and he too would have seen what success and victory Allah had given you. So here, Imam responded, فَقَالَ نَعَمْ. First and foremost, Imam responded by saying, yes. And then he says, قَالَ فَقَدْ شَهِدْنَا. Then Amir al-Mu'mineen said, in that case, he was with us. So, first and foremost, this battle takes place. Many people could not travel. They were still in Medina. They were still in Mecca. They were still in other Muslim cities where Islam was prevalent. And these people didn't make it to the Battle of Jamal. Now, one of the companions said, I wish my brother was here with me. Imam responds by saying that indeed he is with us. So of course, this is a phenomena which is, if you remember, at the end of battle of, aftermath of Battle of Karbala, when the first Zahir of Imam Hussein, Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, comes for the ziyarat, he says, while he's sitting on the grave of Imam Hussein, he said, "O Hussein, we were with you in this battle." So upon hearing this, his khadim Atiyah says to Jabir, "Oh Jabir, we just arrived a few days ago. We weren't there in the battle." Here Jabir said the same thing. As long as we believed in the same thing that Hussein did, as long as our aim and hadaf and objective were the same, for one reason or another we couldn't make it here physically, but we are aligned as far as our beliefs are concerned, and we would not have spared ourselves had we been present over here, given our lives. He said, if that's the case, then it is as if we were there with Imam Hussein. So Imam ﷺ said the same thing. But Imam went a step further. Read what he says here. He said, وَلَقَدْ شَهِدْنَا فِي أَسْكَرِنَا هَذَا أَقْوَامٌ فِي أَسْلَابِ الرِّجَالِ وَرَحَامِ النِّسَاءِ. Rather, in this army of ours, even those persons were also present who are still in the loins of men and the womb of women. You hear the concept of aslab al-shamikha wal-arham al-mutahara, right? In ziyarat warith. So those children who are still not born yet, still this generation to come, Imam says what? Not only those of your friends who are alive, they didn't come in our Jamaat, are also those who are currently in the loins of their fathers and in the wombs of their mother. Imam's reassurance that even those not yet born but destined to be with them are considered part of their noble cause, because they too, who are about to come, believe in our noble cause. Do you not? This is one of the proofs of how Amirul Mu'mineen, when he would enter battlefield, how his sword was so careful who to strike and who not to strike. Because he's able to see in the progeny of that individual if there is going to be someone who is the lover of Ahlul Bayt, faithful to Ahlul Bayt, someone who will believe in the wilayat of Ahlul Bayt, or someone who won't. And that's how Zulfaqar of Ali worked as well. But here you see, is Imam saying this metaphorically? These are the same people whom future times will bring into existence and reveal, and through them the army of faith will become strong and powerful. When Imam Khomeini brought the inqilab in Iran, someone asked him, some Western people who were interviewing him, they asked him, where is, who's going to carry on this inqilab, the torch? He was already 80 years old at that time. Who's going to carry on this? And who's going to fight for this? Who's going to stand up for this? Imam said, my army is still in the arms of their mothers. These were his words. He said, my army is still in the cradle. There are still infants who are in the arms of the mothers. And you'll see them 40 years later, 50 years later, when inqilab is still sustaining and keep going, because people are predicting this inqilab will only last a few years. It'll be over maybe in a decade maximum. But you see, 4 decades have passed, and one of the strongest, countries in all of Muslim Ummah, in the face of all of the injustices that are happening, current genocide that is happening, the only one that is speaking up. Yeah, there might be differences that you find from one aspect or another, political differences that you find from one aspect to another. But if there is one Shia power and how there's one Shia voice in the entire globe, that is Islamic Republic. And that is due to the glory and the victory because of the inqilab that came about. Otherwise, Shah also ruled for 2,500 years. Well, what did they do? This inqilab, of course. So what did Imam Khomeini? Imam Khomeini was inspired by these words of Amirul Mu'mineen. Imam said, not only those who are back home with us, but those who are still not even born yet are with us. Imam Khomeini said, you want my army? My army is still resting in the arms and taking comfort in the cradle of their parents and mothers. So this emphasizes the idea that future generations will emerge and contribute significantly to the strength and the power of the faithful community. Then Imam continues by saying, again, it's not a lengthy khutbah, there are 2 more lines in it. سَيَرَعَفُ بِهِمُ الزَّمَانِ, shortly time will bring them out. وَيَقْوَى بِهِمُ الْإِيمَانِ, and faith will get strength through them. So not only that they will come out, that's why you invest in your future. I'll poorly try and phrase that proverb, that if you want to invest for a year you plant, for example, I don't know, rice. If you want to invest for 10 years, you plant something else. But if you want to invest for 100 years, a millennium, you plant, or invest in your children and these human beings, right? You invest in human beings. You make them, empower them, give them the power, bring them about, and that's what your young generation is and your youth is. So yes, those who are in every time and place, near and in far future, are ideologically connected with us, are always with us, even though divine decree may seemingly separate them from us, meaning they might come after we are gone, long gone from this world. But in the realm of meaning, they are all together, sharing in the victories, blessings, and the goodness. So this jumla, this sentence where Imam says, سَيَّرَعَفُ بِهِمُ الزَّمَانِ, shortly time will bring them out. This expression apparently indicates that just as blood exists in our veins or in the vein of a person, even though it is not visible, do you deny the existence of the blood running around in the veins? No. It's the same way you don't deny the existence of the blood running around in the veins. You don't deny in the sulb, in the loins, and the existence of the future generation. Likewise, they also exist inwardly and within this world, but gradually, according to the divine schedule, Allah has placed for everyone that there is a specific time for everyone to enter into this world. They transition from hidden phase of the manifestation and fulfill their duties. When you look at the branches of the tree, do you see in those branches, especially in the winter time when they're all dried up and all the leaves have fallen? You say, well, are there leaves literally, physically cramped inside a branch and then they will sprout out and they'll come out? No, that's not how this works. Are the fruits, if there is a fruit-bearing tree, you think the fruits are hidden inside the branches? And then when the time is right, they'll emerge from it? Of course, that's not how the nature works, but nonetheless, you could actually tell that to someone and say, well, all the fruits are crammed together in the stem of the tree, and when the time is right, they'll all come out of it. They're hidden from our eyes, bil quwwa, bil fail, they are there, but of course, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides the strength and the quwwat, they will emerge from this tree. So he said they are unique because وَيَقْوَى بِهِمُ الْإِيمَانِ, Deen and Iman is strengthened with it. And step in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with true doctrine. Even in the time of Jahiliyyat, people took pride in not so much wealth, they took pride in the number of their children. They took pride in how big their communities were. One of the main differences between, or one of the main causes of fitna and rivalry between the two tribes of Aus and Khazraj was what? That they would take pride in the number of their inhabitants or the number of their tribeswomen, for example, if they counted the women at that time. What would they say? Alhaakumut takathur hatta zurtumul maqabir. This ayat was revealed for them. That rivalry has destroyed you. Alhaakum. Takathur is rivalry. Hatta, until zurtumul maqabir, you visited the graveyards. What do they used to do? I've mentioned it before. They would count, they would have arguments over, petty things, and then they would say, well, we are stronger than you because we are more in numbers. Then the people of Aus will start counting their men. People of Khazraj will count their men. If, for example, they were equal, they said, let's go visit our graveyards. Let's count our dead people. Let's count our deceased as well. So whoever has more deceased, that clan, that tribe is stronger. The concept of having more children and having more in your community, larger number, was the reason for your strength, not so much how much money and the wealth you possess. So they said they fulfill the prophecy bestowed upon them with due diligence. Amongst the commentators of Nahj al-Balaghah, there is a debate over this concept of those who are being referred to as the present, even from distance. Those who are still not arrived yet, but them being present. Is it a spiritual presence that Imam is referring to? That someone is spiritually with us, future generations, or regarding that person who didn't come with us, he's still in Medina, is he spiritually with us? You know how you make this sentence, sometimes you hear this. So we had a wedding here and people would remember their deceased by reciting Surah Fatiha and say, well, they may not be here, our grandparents may not be here physically attending this marriage, but they are spiritually here, for example. And this is a concept which is not bound only limited to Islam. You see in the other religions as well, that people say about their deceased that they're spiritually here with us. So is Imam saying this, that those who are present from far distance, is it a spiritual? They are present even though they are not. Imam refers to their hearts being present and that they are partners in this reward. So there's this khutbah number 201, which sort of talks about the similarity with this khutbah, that what unites people and brings them together. If you refer to khutbah number 201, let's see if I can pull this up quickly before we go towards conclusion. One should not be afraid of the scarcity of those who tread on the path, on the right path. O people, do not wonder at a small number of those who follow the right path, because people throng only around the table of this world, whose edibles are few and whose hunger are insatiable. Now maybe this is, of course, the further discussion on this when we will come about it. I'll just explain quickly and we'll conclude. And that one of the segments in this khutbah where Imam ﷺ talks about, oh people, certainly what gathers people together is their agreement to do good or bad and their disagreements. For only one individual killed the camel of Thamud, but Allah held all of them accountable in the punishment. There we go. That's the reply. That how in good actions Imam is counting those who did not come, they are aligned with us intellectually, they are with us. Similar to how those who were aligned in doing evil, Allah condemning all the people of Thamud. Why? Only, Qidar ibn Salih was the name of the person who killed Naqi Saleh, right? But the entire Thamud are being condemned because of that. So Imam says, what unites people and brings them into harmony is their satisfaction and anger. Indeed, the she-camel of the people of Thamud was hamstrung by one person. But God inflicted a general punishment on all of them because they were all pleased and happy with the hamstringing of the camel. We'll just recite in the ziyarat. Allahumma la'an qatalaka wa man zalamaka wa man sami'at bidhalika wa radiyat bih. O Allah, curse on those who killed him. Curse on those who did zulm upon him. And Allah, curse on those who heard and they were razi with it. So that is similarity over here. Thus, the criterion for considering a group of people as part of one group or army is their inner desire, which naturally manifests itself. May God willing grant us success in following the path and method of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib ﷺ, being in the line of the commander of the faithful and defending Islam. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. I will stop over here. Yeah.